The Washington Nationals finally snapped their 7-game losing skid, and it didn't just come against any old team. It came against the Atlanta Braves and was led by the young guys.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. Of course, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcast, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, and of course, the video version you can check out over on YouTube. Again, just search Locked On Nationals. And later on in today's show, we've got a 12:05 first pitch in Atlanta. Can the Nationals tie up this series and overall make better things than what has happened over the last few games here? Let's see if they can do that. We'll have that preview for you later on in the show today. And in the second segment, I want to take you down to the minor leagues. Two of your top Nationals prospects are down in Fredericksburg, and in their first action in Freddie, they've dominated. I'll tell you who that is later on in the program today. I'm going to tell you why I'm excited for those guys and where they rank in my top 10 prospects of the Washington Nationals. But we start off today's show discussing last night's game. And let me tell you this, when you haven't tasted a victory in a while, you better make it a good one when you eventually do win. We're not the Colorado Rockies. We're not one of the worst teams in baseball. We're not even the Miami Marlins, who have actually been a little bit scrappy this year. But still, this Nationals team should be better than what they are. And I think they are better than what we have seen on paper, than what we have seen in person. Wherever you are watching this team or however you are following this team, the record does not really indicate how good the Nationals have been. They have a bad bullpen, or they've had a bad bullpen in the past, but right now I actually don't have the worst bullpen in baseball. It's the LA Angels, who have a god-awful bullpen. But last night's game gave me what I wanted. When you talk about the 2025 Nationals, we talk about James Wood. You talk about CJ Abrams. You talk about Dylan Cruz. Those guys had a big part in yesterday's ball game. The Nationals came back down from a pretty big deficit in which we have seen the Nationals fight their way back into games all season long. But against a good team like the Braves, and again, this Braves team, the record really doesn't indicate how good they are. They are a very talented ball club. But with where the Nationals are, I was not anticipating a comeback win. I just wasn't. And if you look at yesterday's game, I think you got what you wanted as a Nationals fan. James Wood, later on in yesterday's ball game, came up huge for the Washington Nationals. He delivered the decisive RBI double in that 8th inning, right down the line, and that's when the Nationals finally got going. That's when you finally get to the Braves bullpen. Bryce Elder delivered a great start through 6 innings pitched yesterday? He looked really good. I was not really anticipating that, to be honest. But in yesterday's game, if you are there for James Wood, you got what you wanted. And this, again, comes from a 7-game losing streak, which 2 nights ago, the Nationals had a team meeting. Davey Martinez discussed that team meeting. Obviously didn't really go into what was said. That's not something that a manager would do. You would not air that out publicly. But with where the Nats are, yesterday felt good. You finally kind of see why it's still good to stay tuned with this team. Because with the Capitals in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now, the Commanders just had their schedule released, and we're getting closer and closer to football season. The NBA draft is coming up. People are distracted in DC sports. And the Nationals, let's be honest, this team and this fan base probably hasn't been this divided since early on in 2019 when everyone wanted Davey Martinez to get fired or move on or whichever way it was. Last night was a good thing. And we have had a lot of negatives over the last week. Again, a 7-game losing skid has not been fun. It's not fun covering a losing ball club at this point. But last night showed why we have to stay in this fight. It showed why you continue to watch. Because of James Wood. Because of CJ Abrams. Jose Tena coming up with a big hit yet again. And by the way, can we talk about this real quick? Jose Tena, he's one of the clutchest Nationals at this point in time. I truly do believe in that. And the numbers do back it up. In yesterday's game, delivering that big hit later on, but look at his numbers overall in the clutch. This season, let me just say. In 8 at-bats, he has a .500 batting average with runners in 2 outs and runners in scoring position. In late and close ball games, 16 plate appearances, he's batting over .400. They 1104 OPS. Within a 1-run game, in 24 at-bats, that's when the numbers start to dip off a little bit then because he's got a 509 OPS and bats sub 200. But Jose Tena comes up in big situations. Why aren't the Nationals having this guy play every single day? We saw at portions of last year, his debut game for the Nationals hits a walk-off game winner. That was awesome. That's when we all kind of knew this guy is a ball player. The defensive struggles were real last year for him over at third, but this year, he has completely turned the corner defensively. He has looked but Jose Tena should be in this lineup every single day. And it should not even be a question at this point. I like Amed Rosario. He's been better than I think what a lot of people expected for him to be. But he's not the future. And Jose Tena might not be the future either. But one thing he does provide is big hits in big situations when we need it most. And he came and he delivered last night. And James Wood also. When the game is all tied up, hitting that double in the top of the 8th inning to take the Nats and finally lead them to a win. These were big situations by young, improving players. James Wood is already a star. But Jose Tena comes in and he's got to prove himself. And in yesterday's contest, he proved himself to be a big, clutch hitter. And the Nationals don't have too many of those at this point. When you look at this lineup, I took issue yesterday when I saw that lineup card come out yesterday. And again, you have Dylan Cruz and Josh Bell batting back-to-back. Probably not the best scenario when you have two really struggling hitters and you have them back-to-back with each other. Now, someone might say, well, what would you do? How would you split them up? I probably wouldn't have two, let's be honest, easier outs. I'm not going to say easy outs. It's Major League Baseball, and these guys are professional hitters. Dylan Cruz, one of the top prospects in baseball entering the season, and Josh Bell is a seasoned vet. Yes, I understand that. But with where they are right now, both batting sub 200, why do you have them batting back-to-back? Well, ended up, Josh Bell delivered a nice hit there, and also Dylan Cruz had another multi-hit game. So maybe, just maybe, the Nationals, this is what they needed. A comeback win, a situation of which Mitchell Parker looked pretty good so far in that start. Didn't have his best stuff. Got nailed the line drive. Hopefully he's okay. We're going to get an update from David Martinez, who should be speaking to the media here soon. But yesterday was a good win. And it felt good to get back in that win column. Because at times with this team, it felt as if rock bottom. Even after all the 60-win seasons that we have had as of recent. The 71. At times, you feel a little bit lost. And at times, it gets frustrated because we keep on thinking to ourselves, this is going to be the year. And I thought that this was going to be the year. But then, as last week, you were just 2 games below 500 in the beginning of May, I thought to myself, this team might be a wild card team if you fix the bullpen. Well, since DFAing Lucas Sims and Colin Poche, and you have Cole Henry pitching in back-to-back games, as we saw in last night's game also with Jackson Rutledge, who looked pretty good. The Nats bullpen may not be the biggest issue as what we thought it was as just a few weeks ago. But that win was much needed. It was the medicine that fed this fan base, and you now feel just a little bit better. Now, can we go and tie this series up 2-2 on the season? We'll see that. We'll preview it later on in today's show. But next, let's talk about this. Travis Sykora and Luke Dickerson. You've probably heard of Travis Sykora. Not sure you've heard about Luke Dickerson. But these two guys, watch out because they could be stars in Major League Baseball. We'll discuss that after we tell you about some of our very good friends over at Supply House and get the supplies that you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. And of course, their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources in the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. I'm in here in a rental, and sometimes we have got plumbing issues, whether it be a backed up toilet or the valve is not working. I go to Supply House and I get all the plumbing needs right then and there, and they give me all the information for exactly what you need, from step-by-step directions to just how to do this and how much it'll cost. And also, you can join the free Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Again, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That is supplyhouse.com. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And I will say this, Mitchell Parker has been seen walking around not Nationals Park, but the clubhouse today. Seems to be okay, so that's good news there. He took a pretty hard line drive right there off the lower leg, so hopefully he'll be all right and make his next start, but that was certainly something concerning for the Washington Nationals. But let's talk about this now. Travis Sykora and Luke Dickerson. For those who are not aware, Luke Dickerson was your second-round pick out of high school in 2024. And when you hear second-round pick, you're like, okay, well, what's really the big deal? He's not a first-round pick, but he's a first-round talent. Luke Dickerson is, in my opinion, your second-best Nationals prospect right behind Travis Sykora. And for those who may not even know who Travis Sykora is, let me catch you up real quick. This is a top 10 pitching prospect in all of baseball at this point. That's how good Travis Sykora is, in my opinion. He was on the IL, or he didn't start the season because he had a hip injury over the offseason, and the Nationals played it cool with him. They said he'd be back in May, and it's now May 14th, or it was May 14th yesterday. It's May 15th today. You all get the point. And he's now pitching, and he's looking pretty damn good. So far in his first 3 starts, he had 2 starts down in the rookie league, the rookie complex down in Florida, but now he's back up in Fredericksburg, and he made his first start for the Fred Nats in 2025. After dominating last year, being one of the best minor league pitchers and leading the Fredericksburg Nationals to a Carolina League championship, Travis Sykora is back, and he is better than ever. Let me just say this. I believe that the Nationals farm system and where we are now, it's in a situation really over the last year with guys like James Wood and Dylan Cruz graduating. The Nationals farm system is still in a good spot, and it's because of guys like Sykora and Dickerson. I think Luke Dickerson is going to be a top 100 prospect when Major League Baseball totally updates their rankings. And I've always kind of noticed this when it comes to players and prospects. When I am looking at to tell like who kind of stands out, who's going to be that guy to really kind of take the reins of this and be a top prospect. I look at what they do in batting practice. I look at how they prepare. And also, I want a background check. Simple scouting there. I'm no scout, but I do like prospects, and I feel like I do have a good feel on what's good and what's not. Luke Dickerson has a multi-sport background where he was a state champion in hockey, and he broke Mike Trout's New Jersey high school record for home runs in a season. Dickerson has got power, he has got speed, and I think he put that all on display for the Washington Nationals in yesterday's game. Right now, he is your 6th-ranked prospect, but in his debut game for the Fredericksburg Nats, again, he's had 2 games so far, but he has looked really good. And so far this season, and not even just in Fredericksburg, but also with rookie ball, he has been hitting the ball with some authority and getting base hits and playing really good defensive shortstop. This is going to be the position player that you will be watching for and that you will be waiting to hit the major leagues sometime soon, hopefully. And I don't think it's going to come this season, but in yesterday's contest, multiple doubles for Freddie in big RBI situations where he drove 1 run in. And again, I wasn't able to watch it, but I was texting with some people down in Fredericksburg, and everyone raves about the way that Luke Dickerson handles himself. It's only been 2 games. Let's just stay right there. But this is a big-time prospect. In the comparisons, and when you see this guy in person, which I really think everyone should go down to Fredericksburg because, number one, it's a great time and it's family-friendly. And again, it's great to just see these young prospects before they take on the big league field. You get to say that you saw them down in Fredericksburg. It's a cool thing. But Dickerson is going to be a stud in Major League Baseball. The high exit velocities, the crazy quick bat speed, the quick hands. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Anthony Rendon from what I saw. And hearing the bats just down there without the crack of the bat down in spring training, back in the backfield with Brady House, with guys like Robert Hassel III, with Yo-Yo Morales. Luke Dickerson had that sound where you're like, that's different. Where you hear James Wood and the crack of the bat, you think to yourself, this guy has some crazy raw power. And Luke Dickerson has that in his tool bag, in my opinion. He's 5'11" at this point. He's 19 years old. And he turns 20 this coming August. But this is going to be a guy for you. And I really want you guys to go down to Fredericksburg and see this guy in action because he is going to be a stud for the Nationals. And right now, I am as my 2nd best prospect in this system, jumping Harleen Susana. And it's early on, but I would not touch him in any trade situation whatsoever. Because I've seen people float around, the Nationals should try to poke and trade for a Rafael Devers. Devers is great. But I'm telling you, Dickerson has the opportunity to be a superstar. Can the Nats develop him? That's a question that you can answer yourself, and we'll tackle it at a later date. But I do want to talk about Sykora real quick. Because Sykora is not going to last too long in Fredericksburg. He spent the full season last year in Freddie, looked really good, put up crazy good numbers for the Fred Nats last year for a tune of a 2.33 ERA in 20 starts, 85 innings pitched, and 129 strikeouts. Batters just batted 168 against him, and this guy has some of the best stuff in minor league baseball. I think he will get the move up to high A relatively soon. And I think by the end of this year, we're talking about him being in Double A Harrisburg. At 21 years old, just turned 21 years old, by the way, a few weeks ago, he is going to be your next big-time pitching prospect. And he is going to be a top 20 pitching prospect by the end of this season. Plain and simple. That's how good this guy is. So yeah, you might not have the big names out there. You might not see Dylan Cruz, one of the best college hitters that you will see in that prospect rankings anymore. You might not see 6'7" James Wood down in the prospect rankings anymore. But these 2 guys, they could be stars. And Sykora might be one of the best pitching prospects the Nationals have had since like Steven Strasburg type. That's how good Sykora could be. And seeing that his fastball is still up in the upper 90s, he still has a nasty slider and a nasty splitter to go with his fastball. You feel good about where he is. And also, with his mechanics, one thing I love about him, it's not some traditional approach here. He is an old school pitcher who kind of throws like Nolan Ryan. If you know, you know. But we'll see if the Nationals can develop these guys. But for now, You just got to sit and you got to watch down in Fredericksburg. So we'll get Eric Bach on the horn here soon to talk about Sykora and as well as Luke Dickerson. But thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Next, let's talk about this. Nats, Braves. Can the Nationals head out of Atlanta 2-2? We'll preview that after this. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So on today's game, a 12:15 first pitch in Atlanta, kind of a weird start time. I hate the 12:15 start times. We are less than 2 hours from first pitch. You have Trevor Williams on the bump, which, let me just say this. Trevor Williams, one thing that we know is he's going to go 5 innings pitched. He's not going to have shutout baseball. He's going to give up 3 earned runs, and that's pretty consistent of where he is. For the first time all season, he pitched 6 innings this last start against the Cardinals, in which he gave up 4 earned runs. He did not give up any home runs. That was good to see. And he really hasn't given up, crazy home runs this year, but he has given up a decent amount. He's given up 5 home runs in his, 7 starts this year. So that's something to watch for the Washington Nationals, especially in hot Atlanta, where I think it's going to be like 85 degrees there. So the ball is going to be flying. But with that said, the Nationals aren't going up against like some world beater of a pitcher. It is, in my opinion, not the best, but AJ Smith-Shawver, who is good. This guy is good. A former 7th round pick, one of the top prospects with the Braves a few years ago. And he has been kind of up and down, that yo-yo effect of the Atlanta Braves, and his numbers do look pretty good on paper. But I will say this, the Nationals, you can hit this guy, and you have in years past. I think today, and kind of seeing the momentum from last night, having that comeback win, having your bullpen overall look pretty good with guys like Cole Henry and Jose Frere and Jackson Rutledge coming in, your young guys in this pen looking good. The Nationals, they've got some momentum, and you can finally build off that. So with where the Nationals are, I would love to see a win today. If you win today, taking 2 against the Braves after starting off really poorly in Monday night's game, getting walked off for what feels like the millionth time against the Braves over the course of the last 10 years, but still, you feel good about where the Nationals are. And in today's game, they try to tie up this series, and you know what? I think they get it done. So we'll see what the Nationals do overall, but we'll have to watch the action between Trevor Williams and a pretty depleted bullpen, by the way, because you've got your guys, Cole Henry, who love Cole Henry, but he's pitched back-to-back days for the first time in his career. He ain't going to be pitching today, and he's been really good for the Nationals so far. So it's going to be interesting to see how Davey pieces together this bullpen, but we'll just have to watch and see if the Nats can tie up this series. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.